Religion is a cultural tradition that we've seen all across the human race. Whether we're opening gifts on Christmas morning, celebrating Diwali, or lighting the menorah during Hanukkah, we're all practicing what researchers have called a belief in the supernatural. This then got me thinking, if religion is a uniquely human trait, then is it human nature that drives us to believe in the supernatural? Or is it something deeper, that maybe even our close relatives, Neanderthals, also practiced? This brings us to today's topic. Today, I'll go over two main things. First, we'll talk about what Neanderthals actually needed to practice religion. Second, we'll talk about the physical evidence of religion at Neanderthal sites. This brings us to our first area of concern. What did Neanderthals actually need to practice religion? We know that Neanderthal skulls were just as big, if not a little bigger than modern human skulls. However, they were shaped differently. Researchers are unclear how or if this impacted their intellectual abilities. But one study proposes that Neanderthals' football-shaped heads imply that Neanderthals developed greater visual capacities at the expense of less developed intellectual abilities. On the topic of brain size and cognition, then what other capabilities would Neanderthals need to have in order to practice religion? One of the concepts they would need to have is called theory of mind. Theory of mind is the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes and to think how they would feel in the same situation as you. This is important in the context of religion because Neanderthals would need to know what a god is feeling about their actions if they're performing a ceremony, or if they're breaking big rules. Will the god be happy, or will they be really angry at you? But what if archaeologists found at Neanderthal sites that is evidence that they actually practiced religion? Some researchers believe that deliberate burial sites are the missing piece to the puzzle. But others raise another interesting point. Do deliberate burial sites actually mean that Neanderthals believe in the afterlife? Or does it mean that they just wanted to bury their dead? One line of evidence that would help distinguish between these possibilities is grave goods, special items buried with the buried bodies. Unfortunately, there are no clear cases of Neanderthal grave goods. One burial in Israel, for instance, had some stone tools and animal bones, but these could be debris thrown in the pit by accident, rather than items given for the afterlife. So what exactly have we talked about today? First, we talked about what Neanderthals would actually need to practice religion. Then, we talked about things like their brain morphology. Were they intelligent? And two, whether they're capable of ideas like theory of mind, the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes and to empathize. And second, we talked about physical evidence at Neanderthal sites, talking about things such as animal bones and stone tools, and how these might not be the best form of evidence to discuss the afterlife. I know it's disappointing that we don't have clear evidence that Neanderthals actually believed in the afterlife. But after reviewing what Neanderthals would need to practice religion, and two, what the physical evidence at Neanderthal sites could suggest about their religious beliefs, I do think that we understand one thing. Much like modern religion, Neanderthal religion is probably quite complex.